Welcome back to Pursuit of Motion. Yeah, woohoo! Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Pursuit of Motion. I am so glad to be here. I've been waiting a very long time for this. I have my studio set up. I'm in this beautiful new location, and I'm ready to rock and roll. There's a lot to talk about. And so I'm going to start by yapping a little bit. And then from there, I'm going to move into some interesting stuff that's going on, some of my own personal things that I'm working on. And I will finish off with a new segment I like to call Demotion. But more on that, you got to wait till the end of it. Today's song of the day, Dopamine by Chris Webby. Chris Webby is an incredibly influential artist on me in the sense that I started listening to him from a very young age. I'm eventually going to do an influences breakdown of music, but I don't have time for that right now. That is definitely on the future list though. But Chris Webby, Dopamine.
See, dopamine is what your brain is making when you feeling happy. So if you trying to feel what I'm feeling, then yo, get at me.
Okay, yeah, that's enough of the song. You get it. So, what did I do this summer? I went and worked at West Fraser. If you're watching this on YouTube, maybe you've seen my West Fraser video. West Fraser is a massive forestry business. Basically, they're in every sort of branch of forestry you can think of, but this was OSB. Most of my life experience has been lumber. This was OSB, and it was a lot of fun. And one of the key things about this business that was interesting is that it is not unionized. And in a unionized business, essentially, there's not really any sort of compensation for hard work. Everybody is equal blank slate. And so it protects you from your bosses being mean. I view unions as a necessary evil, like insurance, but we'll get to that on another episode too. West Fraser is great because it allowed me the opportunity to use my music to express how fun working in forestry is. I was able to partner with them and create a safety orientation song. I don't need to really go much further into that, but watch the video. It is a lot of fun. Thank you so much to West Fraser for employing me over the summer, and maybe you'll see me again one day. Also, I lived with my in-laws this summer, and that was fantastic. I got the opportunity to live out of town on a farm, out on a ranch, and it was a great time drinking with the father-in-law. Mother-in-law cooks incredibly. Yeah, it was a great experience, so thank you to them. And we drove back through the U.S., so a little known fact, every time that I have come back, well, me and my girlfriend Emma, go watch episode 2, every time that we've driven across the country, we've gone through Canada. But the thing about doing the same trip 4 times and not being able to stop and spend money in every location and experience all these cool things is that it's not that it gets old because it's an incredible vacation, but also maybe you can spice things up. So this time we went down through the States and it was insane. By night 2, we were already dreaming of a green card. It was a great experience. Montana, firstly, is where we entered, and that is a gorgeous state. That's probably the one that we would live in if we could pick a state. We went and visited the Battle of Little Bighorn. It's also known as Custer's Last Stand, also known as Battle of the Greasy Grass, and that is one of the largest First Nations victory over the American soldiers, American military, and it was a really incredible memorial site. And then from there, we visited South Dakota, which has, of course, Mount Rushmore, the Black Hills National Forest, which was just like, that's probably my favorite part. Like Montana, I would live in. South Dakota, I'm trying to go back there for like 2 weeks on a vacation one day. Bring a camper, bring a motorcycle, bring a boat. You know what I mean? 20 years from now. But we also visited the Crazy Horse Memorial, so if you guys, I definitely have all heard of Mount Rushmore, I'm assuming, which is massive, and it was incredible. Pictures, of course. Shout out to my editor, Jay Blaze, by the way. Jay Blaze, let's go. Yeah, he's the one doing all the pictures and stuff, so if you're the type to comment, show some love to him for joining the team. We also visited Crazy Horse Memorial and the Indian Museum of North America. Incredible. The story is insane. If you don't know anything about Crazy Horse, Google it. It is significantly larger than Mount Rushmore, and it is still being built. And yeah, we're going to visit. We're going to take our kids there one day. Also, Chicago deep dish. We got some gluten-free Chicago deep dish, and was bussin'. That was amazing. I didn't mean to swear. Niagara Falls, that was amazing too. It was excellent. We went on the world famous Maid of the Mist where Pam and Jim got married. And also, we went to this incredible barbecue spot. It was called Horny Hog Barbecue. I promise you, it's real. Google it. It's not profane because it's a business name and it rhymes, so that's a rule. That was amazing. And then lastly, Vermont. Vermont was pretty sick. It was gorgeous all the way through. And yeah, so that's my little yap about the drive. But we're back. We're locked in. New music and return of Pursuit of Motion. Now is a great time to plug. As you guys can see, the Pursuit of Motion shirt. Website is going live very shortly. Perhaps by the time this comes out, the website's live. So if you're Antigonish local, hit me up. I'll be really excited to hook you up with one of these dope tees. And for those of you who are just listening, our website will be live soon and you'll be able to see this awesomeness that I've got on me. Now, I'll tell you guys about the album. I've never been in a position where I worked on the same project for an entire year. I've always worked on projects, always had music on the go, but I've never sat down and said, I'm going to work on this until it's perfect. And that is what I hope to achieve with this album, Glory. Album coming out October 30th. I spent 6 months on the beat selection alone. Nothing's wrong with your speaker. Nothing's wrong with your headphones. I'm just taking a sec for you to let that sink in. Without even writing, without even applying my own flavor, I spent 6 months making sure sonically this is the smoothest project I could put together. From there, I spent the whole summer, 3 months, writing this album, putting together the idea, making sure everything was coherent and cohesive and that I was representing myself in the brand. And now we're in the lab, we're recording. I'd like to say all of it's recorded, but it's not. But it'll be ready on time. I'm not too worried about that. As well as Really Authentic, that definitely just dropped. Really Authentic, new song, new single, first single since April, and I really hope you guys like it. It's supposed to be an expression of myself. So, well, obviously everything is, but that's where we are. Also, September 12th, Piper's Pub, Antigonish. We've got a big show. We're partnered with Almost Friday, Send Season. Get your tickets. We really hope to see you guys there. Moving on, Paper Chasers Entertainment. Now, some of you have probably heard me say this. Some of you may be completely unfamiliar with it. So now is the time. Take out your pen and pencil. Let the record reflect that Paper Chasers Entertainment is live. This is our entertainment company, our record label. This is the moniker that our group will be going under. We've got 5 very incredible team members that are highly specialized and that I'm super grateful to be on the team. 5 including me. So less praise to myself than the rest of the group, but still to a degree I'm responsible. So thanks for everything that you guys are doing, team. And I really hope you guys are excited to see what we're putting out. I'm going to have a whole episode on Paper Chasers Entertainment, so I'm going to move on with consideration to your time. But here's the logo. For those of you not looking, it is a very nice set of cards. There are 3 cards. The main card has our logo, PCE on it, which is Paper Chasers Entertainment. We got some dollar signs. The black and gold is classic. Yeah, this was designed by Emma Kate Art. Her link is definitely in the description. Also, my girlfriend. Again, go back to episode 2. I'm very blessed to have such a talented artist to be able to work with me on this journey, as well as everybody else involved. So yeah, that's really awesome. But yeah, Paper Chasers Entertainment. Now let's move on to the news. There's some cool things going on in the world. In the interest of not having my reputation destroyed this early in the game, I've found some pretty interesting stories that aren't exactly inflammatory, so let's dive right in. Firstly, all of the links, every piece of information that I'm about to give you will be linked, so, I don't know, read them first before you disagree with me, I guess. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a Chinese flying car? That's pretty good. That's a good name. That's a good way to title it. The Economist. This is the only legacy media, liberal establishment, news source that I am subscribed to that I pay for. One of the premier professors told me that if there's one that I was going to pay for, it should be that. And I like to stay well read. I like to stay updated on it. I balance that with my Daily Wire subscription. So I hear the bullshit from the right. I see what the liberal establishment has come up with on the left. And then I'm somewhere based in the middle. Adnan for Prime Minister. One day. But it's a bird, it's a plane, it's a flying car, courtesy of The Economist. In the State of the Nation address earlier this year, China's Prime Minister, I'm not going to pronounce the name, but it is in the article, spoke of fostering new engines of economic growth. In particular, he mentioned the low-altitude economy. The phrase conjures an image of flying cars, which might seem like science fiction to some, but in this area, China's moving faster than most countries. Makers of flying cars, or electric vehicle takeoff and landing, EVTOL, I'm just going to call them flying cars for the rest of the article, has been getting the green light from the government. They basically look like really big drones. Some of them are designed to be autonomous like Tesla's, but others you can fly yourself. But the thing that is interesting is that finally one of these companies have been awarded a production certificate to start mass production. So this is the first flying car to ever receive actual regulatory approval anywhere in the world. There is foreign competition too, but China accounts for 50% of the world market, America is only 18%, and Germany is 8%. According to the China Merchant Securities, a bank. Okay, now that I read that out loud, I'm not so certain I trust that as much. There's no way I trust what a Chinese bank has to say. But, needless to say, they definitely make up a massive portion of market share. China has two big advantages, and basically their edge in electric vehicle technology, which is transferable from the driving sort to the flying thing, especially batteries. I mean, China doesn't give a shit about, I swear again. China doesn't care about the way they source their materials, so I bet it would be easier for them to put together electric vehicles. But the thing is, China's home to the biggest battery makers, and so they need to make especially light batteries. So that's going to be an advantage they have just in technological capability. But the second advantage and the main one is enthusiasm from the government. Yay, let's go CCP, invest money in the new industry. Let's go. They aim to set up what's called demonstration zones of the low-altitude economy in areas such as the Pearl River Delta and Yangtze Delta by 2025. I won't pretend to know where they are, but essentially these are urban areas that they're going to allow these drone-like flying cars to operate in. They intend on building more than 600 takeoff and landing pads for these aircrafts by the end of next year, which is a lot. They're also thinking about how to manage the airspace once the drones and the flying cars really take off. So they said that they're trying to come up with a coordination mechanism, one that'll like delineate the airspace. But we'll have to see how that works out because it says here that they have not figured that out. And now I'm going to give my take on it a little bit. I personally think, firstly, that flying cars are incredible. Like, this is the future, exciting. I had more of like a DeLorean with wings type idea. Drones, a little bit less cool, but also could be quite cool. I have some concerns though. Firstly, I think it gives China a significant foothold in the technology of the future, which I'm fairly comfortable with where they're at as far as like production capacity, but as far as actually being the controllers of how things are designed, and especially how important that supercomputer, like the microchips that Taiwan produces, power given is rarely returned. And if the world, decides that flying cars are the go and it's going to take by storm, well, that's going to increase the demand for those chips, and that's going to give China another step, another little nudge towards the, to Taiwan, their natural, part of their natural self, as they would put it. So I think that's a problem. And also, I would say I don't know how comfortable the general public is about flying in helicopters. There was a recent tragedy in the years, and to be honest, do you think your local mechanic is going to take care of your drone better than Kobe's team could take care of the helicopter? And I say that in complete respect, and I say that with like the deepest condolences. There's no disrespect in that. It is just a point. It's like when rappers, oh my goodness, I hate that this is the example, but it's so recent. R.I.P. Rich the Kid. R.I.P. Rich the Kid, real innovators. People should definitely get on their Instagrams and send some love to Quavo and Offset from the Migos. I know some of you aren't gonna care at all what about this, but those men have experienced a ton of loss in the last 2 years, and all of it senseless. So yeah, sending love their way. But it's like when a rapper overdoses on a bad pill. It's like, okay, well, Joe Schmo down the street is not going to get a better connect than that guy. So the logistics of everybody flying around and making their own decisions, even if it is autonomous, even if it is AI driven like Tesla, and then also the question of the infrastructure. I mean, what's the deal with sharing these landing pads? So I want to go to the grocery store. I land at the landing pad at the grocery store, and then you fly over, and I'm still landed there. What is it gonna AI lift itself off the pad and hover? Is the pad gonna be large enough? So okay, we're gonna double the amount of parking lots now, or what? Are we gonna build these ugly little skyscraper type landing pads like a parking garage but stacked vertical in the sky? That's not gonna work. So yeah, I think that there are definitely some serious considerations, but also, man, if I had like 10 cars, why wouldn't my 11th be a flying one? You know what I mean? I'll try it once or twice and sell it. I don't want to die, but I certainly want to experience something cool. So yeah, that's my take on that. Geez, no one needed that. Let's move on. And now that we're coming towards the end of the episode, I would love to introduce you to a new segment I like to call Demotion. That's a new stinger. We're going to work on it. Maybe it sounds good, maybe it doesn't. Demotion. This is going to be a segment that I am not going to have fun doing. And what I mean by that is that I like to consider myself to be a generally positive person. I'm not a big fan of being negative to any capacity. And so it isn't ideal when I need to demote somebody. But sometimes people make decisions in business that earn them a significant reduction in pay. And whether this is in business or in organizations, people make poor decisions, and we're all humans. So this is the disclaimer that nothing I'm about to say is hateful, nothing I'm about to say is targeted at anybody specifically. If I even did know who was particularly responsible for this role, I would not reveal that. I would not use my platform for bad. However, this person deserves a significant cut in pay. So demotion. St. Francis Xavier. It is my great pleasure to be a Xaverian. It's my great pleasure to be a part of this community. And Saint FX has been one of the sickest experiences of my life. Clearly, I love it. Like, if you know me at all, you know I love it. Recently, there was a change. They renovated the gym, they renovated the change rooms, they renovated the bar, and they renovated the bathrooms attached to the bar. Now, the bar is incredible. Shout out to the inn. Huge shout out to the inn. I'm officially a host at the inn now, so catch me at the inn. But, oh, and the gym too. Excellent new design. If you're a Saint FX student and you don't go to the gym, time to get started. The bathroom and change room situation. They have been designed in a way, it seems like is intended to further homogenize the student population. It's intended to break barriers and to push past stigmas and to be totally inclusive. And it is one of the creepiest and like degenerate decisions that I have come across, and it is super unfortunate. The bathrooms and change rooms are all now co-ed. And what I mean by that is like family change room at a pool, where you could take little kids and then it's like a big change room area, but they're all individual units and stalls with a door, so everybody's in their own little mini cubicles. This is the type of plan that is great on paper. It's like, oh yeah, everybody has their own little privacy, but then the change room, people can kind of mesh around, or even, I will even grant them the sexual violence argument and say, well, if you have co-ed, you have men and women in the same bathroom, then there are men that can watch out for women and women can watch out for men and vice versa. But to be honest, now that I've built up a strong man for your side, this is ridiculous and absolutely degenerate. Whoever made this decision, like, 60% cut in pay for annual demotion for next year. It is totally degenerate. And like the craziest part about it, forgetting about a bar bathroom where everybody's drinking, anybody who's been to a bar and been to the bathroom, even if they are sober, have experienced some sort of nightmare. It's always a nightmare. It's always dirty and disgusting. Someone's throwing up. Someone's laying on the floor probably. Someone's decided to pull all the toilet paper off the roll. As a man, I'm like, I'm not so certain that I want women seeing the men's bathroom just for that purpose. And having never experienced a women's bathroom, I can't speak on it, but I can't imagine that it's much better because people are animals sometimes. But a gym change room? And the worst part is the gym change room is attached to the pool. So the pool has a change room there, which means, like, I went for a 7-kilometer run 2 days ago. And I don't know about you guys, but when I run for any sort of distance, and before you come at me, I don't know, to me that's a decent distance. Get away from me. But after a hard workout, I decompress in the locker room. I sit on that bench for a minute. I take a deep breath. I look at my shoes. I gather my thoughts. I get myself prepared. I get my cardiovascular settled. I drink some water. I do not need to feel like I need to apologize for being in the change room. This morning, when I left the gym, a mother in her bathing suit with a baby in her arms walked past me. In the change room. I'm covered in sweat, feeling gross, probably looking gross. And I need to feel like I'm out of place, like I don't belong. But that's the thing. In trying to create a place where everyone belongs, nobody belongs anymore. The sauna, there is a big ass shared sauna. It's like, I don't know, the size of like 3 dining room tables. That's a weird scale, but it's a big enough sauna that maybe like 8 people could fit comfortably. And it's in the middle of the shared change room. Like, what is the plan there? So I just finished my run. I shower off. I'm like, oh yeah, let me rest up. Let me revitalize. I hop in the change room. I get in the sauna, and then some 17-year-old first-year girl walks in. I'm going to run so fast, I'm just going to break through the glass. I'm not even going to open the door. I have to be out of there. I have to be out. But the thing is, the same goes the other way around. Like, it's not a good look. You're a 23-year-old woman, and some 17-year-old boy's in there. And to be honest, you're going to feel uncomfortable. He's probably going to look at you. It's not going to be good. Well, how about the old men out there? The stereotype of old men hanging brain in the change room is a real thing. You're taking that away from them. I don't know. I don't want to be hateful. I don't want to be exclusionary. I know that you would generally hear any pundit with a podcast make some sort of expression that connects this to self-expression and identity and gender, but I don't want to make that leap. I want to attribute to stupidity and not malice and just say, like, let's do better, Saint FX. So yeah, thank you for listening to my rant of demotion. Thank you for listening to episode 5 of Pursuit of Motion. And yeah, thanks, and see you next time.